Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? All right, I did some digging, all right, because I found out through a community member who lives in Alabama that they are now dealing with the Haitians there, okay? So I did some digging, and son of a gun, yeah. But what I'm going to tell you is going to shock you, okay? I also have a video that I'm going to show you of a city council meeting. So a city council member in Alabama kicked all of the residents out of a meeting in a totalitarian fashion after residents started asking too many questions about their recent arrival to the community. And I hope I say this right. It's Sylacauga, Sylacauga, City Council President Tiffany Nix adjourned a meeting after several attendees. They pressed the council on the issue, including allegations of buses that were brought in supposedly to work, but many were just walking around aimlessly in the streets. Okay, and the last speaker, his name is David Phillips. He barely got to speak before Tiffany Nix cut him off. And he said, it wasn't so much authoritarian as it was totalitarian. And he also said that it was un-American. So the whole point is to serve the community. So when the community comes in, you're supposed to answer these questions because you work for them, right? That's the American way, and this is an all-American town. They pride themselves on this. So President Nix defended the Haitians being in the town, believing that they should be welcomed as contributors to the society. Okay, great, grand, fantastic. I mean, they're supposed to be their own work visas, right on? But if they're walking around aimlessly, they're not doing anything, they're not actually working, right? So she also claims that the council had no idea how they even arrived. Well, that's BS because they're being bussed in there, literally on Great Hell buses. So despite the residents claiming that they came via bus, yada, 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 okay? So now I have a video. And after the video, I'm going to tell you even more of what I dug up. Ready?
I have a couple of questions about the legal immigrants that we have come to our city. I would like to know how they were vetted, and I've got a couple of questions about that. How they were vetted, was everyone vetted? Where were they located? It's said that they have work visas, but the work visas show that the company that they work for is not it's not a factory that we have here. So that's one of my concerns. Who is heading up, watching over this situation? What information can you give me about this situation? I'm just concerned.
So unfortunately, Sharon, we don't have any information to provide to you. We don't have any information. We just don't have any information on it. That's so, and I don't want to speak on something and misinform people, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But as of right now, we don't have any information. We just know that they are here legally.
And the only thing I can add to that concern of yours and a lot of people's is that, this is above us. We found out when everybody found out that they showed up. The first time I saw them, they came to our church and wanted to come to Sunday school and church with us, and that's the first time I knew they were in town. And there was 3, then 6, and 8, and the ones at church with me are great people. They want to come into church, haven't asked for a thing, and worship and go home. That's the only interaction I've had with them. And I know there's more than that here in town, but the only things we know is they're here. We can't, that they're, I wouldn't say a private citizen, but they're coming in just as you would go into another town and buy a house and live there. They're doing the same thing. We can't ask them or watch them like a specific criminal or anything if they haven't committed a criminal act. So we know they're here. We hope that they can provide to our economy and do things that help Silicaca, but as far as knowing how they got here or what their deal is, we're left out of the loop just as you. That goes way high up, and if you haven't noticed, even some of our state representatives have reached out to their DC representatives like Ben Robbins and asking for help and reasoning of why they're here, so that they don't even know at the state level.
But there's no reason for us to wonder why or to investigate. No crime has been committed. I mean, they're here working, like Ashton said, they're, adding to the economy. So as of right now, that's really all we have to say. It was actually more than what I thought we had to say. But
I have one thing. I have reached out to state and federal leaders to try to get more information, and everybody's kind of in the same boat. I've also reached out to other leaders across the state to see, to seek information as well.
And my question is, if they're being bused in here, brought in here by vans, how come the city knows nothing about it?
we don't know anything about that, Ms. Easton. That's just, we've seen this stuff on Facebook and social media just like you have. We have no knowledge of that.
Why haven't you reached out to find out?
Ms. Easton, with all due respect,
You can.
have you, I'm gonna ask this and with all due respect, has anybody seen anybody being busted here? Has anybody seen any bus coming here dropping people off?
I have someone that told me that.
I know, but it's hearsay. But that's the thing. People are posting stuff on social media and people are saying things that they don't know anything
I
about.
realize it.
Yeah. Nobody has seen any of those things happen.
I realize
Yes.
that.
No crime has been committed. There has been no reason
But
for
I also went by where they're living, some of them, and they're just sitting around outside, they're not working.
But what's wrong with that though, Ms. Deason? What's wrong with them sitting outside where they're paying your rent?
In the middle of the day, they would be working if they came here to work.
But we can go anywhere, Ms. Deason,
The
and see
whole
people
thing
sitting on their
was
porch not
supposedly-
working.
They supposedly came here to work.
Well, I worked night shift for a while. I mean, you never know where they're working or what hours they're working.
And I wasn't gonna comment on this, but I am now because I feel like I need to. I want to welcome anybody to Silicaca that wants to come to Silicaca. Anybody that's here that's paying lodging, buying gas, buying food, paying rent, utilities, whatever. We want to welcome them here because if you're here spending money, whether you're working or even if you're not working, you have to be here spending money. So on behalf of Tiffany, Councilmember Nix, I want to welcome you because if you're here stimulating our economy, thank you. That's how I feel about it. And if people aren't breaking the law, they're not causing any problems, I don't see what the issue is. And that's just how I feel. I can only say how I feel.
I have to say the attitude of the council with reference to this is entirely unacceptable. Do we know where the individuals we're discussing are coming from? Where their point of origin is? Because you're treating them like lawful U.S. citizens, which they are not.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut it off because we've had 3 people to come up. I'm gonna cut it off because we have no reason, again, we have no reason to launch an investigation or to treat people differently because of how they look. There's no reason for it.
Who said that?
Well, that's just what I'm saying. I just said that. Tiffany just said that.
Okay,
So
I
there-
didn't say that.
But I said it, but there's no reason for us to discuss this any further. in
These
this-
individuals came from Haiti.
Are valid concerns that we need to
How
hear.
are valid concerns, Laura? People come here all the time. We
These
visit
people came here
Birmingham.
from
We
Haiti.
visit other.
Haiti is a failed state.
We
Their
visit
president
everywhere.
was assassinated in 2021.
We're
There is no
done.
way the State Department can
We're-
vet these
We're
individuals.
done, and I'm gonna access
him
this.
off. Please let him talk.
You had a
shut
chance.
up
I
and
was
let
very
people
specific. Okay, I'm gonna ask all of you to leave because this meeting is over.
So, now, U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville, he dispatched a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, okay, about the unchecked flood of Haitian nationals into rural communities across the nation, as evidenced recently across Alabama. According to Tommy Tuberville, the Haitian migrants are entering Alabama through the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan Parole program. Yeah. Now, this allows foreign nationals from these countries to enter the U.S. temporarily. He says the influx has overwhelmed rural towns in Alabama, where resources such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure are already strained. So the arrival of them, many of whom are not proficient in English, they speak French, as you know, have received the attention of local, state, and federal lawmakers. This is what he said to Mayorkas. Throughout your tenure as Secretary of Homeland Security, you have repeatedly abused the statutory authority granted to your office by Congress by selectively manipulating the Immigration and Nationality Act to implement mass amnesty. Programs such as the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan parole program have changed the landscape of this country forever, and rural communities across the nation will bear the brunt of this ill-conceived and harmful policy for decades. He said that large numbers of Haitians are now descending upon small towns across Alabama where resources are already strained. Then he goes on to say that due to this parole program, the state of Alabama is experiencing an unanticipated influx of tens of thousands of Haitians to rural towns. This sudden surge of people has created safety, health, infrastructure, and economic concerns for residents. Hundreds of Haitian children have entered local school systems. Well, you know what? It's not the kids' problem, okay? The children are not the problem. So we can't blame the kids at all. Okay, so let's you know what? Let's keep the kids out of the equation. Okay? We have to keep the kids out of the equation. All right? The kids are not the problem here. All right? So you can't blame the babies. You really can't. All right? It's the adults here. Okay? They are only fluent in Creole and French, okay, Haitian Creole, leaving teachers and administrators at a loss for how to manage their needs given the federal education requirements. Alabama towns have not received any guidance or resources to address this influx. The situation that you created is simply untenable. According to the senator, Mayorkas' implementation of mass amnesty and immigration policies from this administration is directly responsible for the risk now posed to American communities. Open border policies that DHS has implemented have led this country down a path from which it may never recover. And these policies, which you trumpet as humane, have done nothing more than import scores of people into our country which have not been properly vetted. And that's what Tommy Tuberville has said to Mayorkas. So this parole program, they're not getting vetted. They're just getting bussed in, given a work visa, a temporary work visa, and they're being dumped into our small cities, small towns, and just saying, okay, bye. And then that's it. Then they're given the magic money card, like I explained to you before, with the cash assistance, the food, EBT, and they're given housing, and the rest of us are left in the dust. Yeah. So, all right, I'm out of here. I will see you guys in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.